To summarize that, I think the quality, we need certified products. Where does the zirconia come from? And secondly, we need a good training in the specific material, regardless of what company, of what manufacturer this is coming from.
Thank you, Peter. Mr. Chu, we had a nice discussion yesterday about the zirconia product. Can you just elaborate on the quality of the zirconia without getting into the advertisement of companies, please?
Yes, industry, because of the biocompatibility is so important, as if that is contaminated, the material is make big difference and a lot of different toxicity and everything. So pure, 99.9% of that purity is so important for that biocompatibility and also strength. So if anything is contaminating, it's not going to have more than 900 megapascal of that fracture strength. So that is very important. And then the other thing is the selection of the dental laboratory, which is somebody knows about zirconia, the materials. Technicians should know what is zirconia, what is that best, that working the procedures to take for the zirconia restorations. So that is very, very important. And also, that the process of that CAD. Also that I researched a lot of different things, but we don't have enough time to talk about that one. Even I researched and everything as process of that milling tools. It's all kind of a tool here, that the burrs and everything. And that is also very critical. So I researched how to make that the thinnest zirconia and the restoration for the veneers. I really had that time spent about 4 years, and every little thing is material is so important, and then the process of that, all the milling is important, and also process of all the lab procedures is so important to make a proper restorations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Cho. I think Dr. Tahini has a comment on that, please.
Well, yes. We all agree on the fact that we should use high-quality material. But obviously, the problem is that we are sending our work to the lab technician, and we don't really know what he's using to a certain limit. Because you know that for certain machines, you can use any kind of zirconia. As long as for other more respectful machines and more respectful companies, they would not, you could not fit any kind of ceramic block to this machine. So maybe a good idea would be to go on and check the CAD/CAM machines that would work only with the blocks that have been designed by this specific company, without going into names. You agree on that?
Yes, George. Thank you, but let's go back to the basic materials. Everybody is talking about the purest zirconia material. I'm optimistic in life usually, but let me play the devil advocate now. Peter, you like that, huh? What about the impurities? What are the impurities? Usually the impurities are lead and radioactive material. Do you agree on that? Do you agree on that?
Yeah, I think the impurities, you have to be very careful during pressing the pure zirconia, because any impurities, it will affect not only the grain structure and the pure material, but it will affect definitely the properties later on. So the biocompatibility and the properties itself of the mechanical properties, I mean. So if you got any impurity inside the mass, and if you rely just on a cheap material, so it will affect definitely your final, not only the framework strength-wise and the aesthetic quality after on. Actually, we rely on a couple of things because of the purity of the material. I mean, for the crack, for the toughening, transformation toughening effect, if you have impurities and the crack stopped by an impurity material, the toughening effect which you needed in the zirconia, it will never happen. So I think the purity is a must for material like zirconia.
What would be the Mr. Cho brought out a very critical question, which is the processing of the zirconia with the cutting machines and the cutting instruments that affect highly the final product and the performance of the final product. Who can help us on that? Peter? No?
I think there are two questions coming up. One question is from a manufacturer side of Zirconia brand names. I think they maybe they say something to it right now. How do they give the customer, the dentist and the lab technician, the information they need on what you call the purification, the requirements? Because, I mean, we know there are high standards, but how does the common average doctor and lab technician identify that this is a good and certified product? So manufacturers should come up, to my opinion, with a certification. That users are lab technicians and doctors can identify and distinguish between good and bad.
Can we name them fake and real?
I wouldn't say fake. I would just say, high quality and lower quality. Because all of us as researchers and as doctors, we do not want to run in problems after 3 or 5 years. Once the manufacturers, and they have a chance to comment that now.
Have you noticed how he's getting away from manufacturers?
No, I want to look at them. This is the reason. I don't want, I even come closer. No, I just want to look at them. The second question then is, what is the biggest problem in real life in the laboratory and in the dental office with zirconia? I mean, one problem is manufacturing it, right? I guess you will say something to that. But then, what are the problems we are facing in the office on short and long term? Is it really the strength of zirconia, or what is the daily problem with zirconia? I think we should come to that and talk to those coming from the clinical side. Maybe the manufacturers start first. Do you have a microphone?
Thank you for your comment. Well, let me. I can speak, I think, for 3MSP and the Lava. Usually our system is a closed system, and we produce our blocks, and our machine only recognizes our blocks. And whenever we sell a block to the lab technician, the certified lab technician, he can give a certificate to the dentist that this is Lava, and it has a 5 years warranty. So for the code. So for our zirconia, I think we are monitoring this. And I think also other leading companies do the same. Our problems is with the cheap zirconia and when the system is open. So the milling machine can accept other blocks of zirconia.
Even if the machine is not open, they're cracking down the small machines that are in the lab, and you are using any zirconia blocks on any machine, except if it is like company-run machine, as you are saying.
Yeah.
Any machine can be cracked down, and any block of zirconia could be used.
And I might also answer another question, which is in the clinic. Why do we have also sometimes some chipping? And I think we already raised the issue of the lab technician. Sometimes the use of the veneering ceramic is not matching with the core. So also this is an important point for the lab technicians to understand. Because you might have a very good core material, as zirconia, and company certified and everything. But if the lab technicians go for a veneering over this core material with a veneering ceramic with no matching CTE, coefficient of thermal expansion, you might end up with some chippings. And that won't be a manufacturer problem, neither a clinician problem. It would be a misunderstanding from a lab technician perspective. But I think also if Mr. Bauer wants to comment.
Let me comment first before leaving this point, because you can use, of course, a veneering material with the same coefficient at the start. Yes. But the concept actually is when you fire this veneering material a couple of times after the technician, if he doesn't know this, the lucite crystals inside the veneering material are increased. And once they are increased, the coefficient thermal expansion increases also. So the mismatch will be higher, and so delamination might happen. Yes. So it's not actually using this material at the start, but the technicians, they have to be educated about the material and not to fire veneering material above zirconia more than twice. Otherwise, the excess crystals will be higher, and so delamination might occur after. Thank you.
There is a lot of factors, and Mr. Bauer, can you